Machine tool engineering is the process of designing, fabricating, and manufacturing quality parts using machinery to cut and move metal. Our class offers a technical certificate as well as an Associate's of Applied Science. And this course is open to juniors and seniors in high school also. So let's try to jump right in. This is our manual. A lathe, the part spins, and tooling would come across it. And a mill part is stationary and the tool spins. So kind of terminology there. We use our manual mills and lathes. They are a great learning tool. Over here, we can learn tooling limitations, proper machining techniques, inspection, all with speed. They are still really relevant in industry. Some shops rely on these heavily, and so it's a nice blend of knowing the manual machining also. As we progress through our class, one thing we always keep in mind here is safety is number one. Like our partners in industry, you never stop practicing it, you never stop learning, and so safety is always number one. Another important aspect of a machinist's career and this course is inspection equipment. And here we use a wide array of different style of inspection equipments depending on what we need to measure. We have height gauges, we have micrometers, burns, and so the students get a real life experience into how to actually use this stuff. One thing that maybe the general public doesn't know is a thickness of paper is usually about 3,000, so 0.003. Machinist tolerance are about 0.001 or less between a good part and a bad part. Lots of industry, depending on what they are doing, aerospace, hydraulics, many others, they rely on very tight tolerances to stop, prevent leaks, and to make sure everything fits together perfect. And so students will use inspection equipment. Another thing we still do out here is we do game programming. And what is that? That is the use of G&M codes to create a program from scratch. It's a very useful tool. Not all shops have the new matching capabilities. And so having that ability to write a program out of thin air is really important. Another aspect that comes with that is it creates the skill level to proofread a program before it's ever on a machine. And so that prevents any crashes or any errors. These machines are becoming very, very expensive. They range anywhere between $100,000 to upwards of $1 million. And so preventing a crash is majorly important. This particular machine is a Mazak lathe, and Mazak lathes are very popular in industry. Lots of companies use them. One thing that's interesting about Mazak lathes is or Mazak in general, is they have their own language to program in. And they call it conversational until as you work through your program, it will ask questions and you have to answer it. And so getting the students in here and experiencing Mazatrol programming is really important. It gives them a leg up when they head out into industry. Another lathe we have here is just a 2-axis lathe. This is where we do a lot of our beginner and basic programming with safety in mind and to give confidence and build our skill level. At first, we run our programs on simulation. That way we can control the environment. And it gets the student on the controller. They can still use the controller, but where instead of cutting metal, we can actually just run a simulation here. And once again, this is something that is in industry also. Most industry partners would run a graph of this sort before they actually ever cut metal. So it's a good learning tool to know that this is available for them. All our students, and then in the next 9 weeks portion, we will program and cut actual physical metal. And so it's just a progression from when they walk in to when they walk out. This is a live tooling lathe. So what that is it's a lathe, but it can also stop and log out the part. And then we can come in with different tooling and actually cut around and make like a hex for a wrench pattern. If you had any holes on the side that need to be done, you could lock the part and you could drill through the side. Once again, as industry becomes more and more complex and they're looking for more efficient answers to their solution, a machine like this is also something that they're using. And so for students out here to have the ability to experience that is really important. And like I said, it's just a great tool to have out here. As we continue on, we have a hogs mill. Once again, hogs are a very popular piece of equipment in industry. Getting comfortable with the controller and knowing where the buttons are is a huge advantage. That way, when they step out into the workforce, they feel right at home and they can just go to work. Out here, on this particular machine, we have a double vice setup. And so students will learn how to put their own vices on. Once again, with the tolerancing that we have, we run particular tools like an indicator across. This would go up in the spindle and it measures to the thousandths. And this vice to this vice have to be within a thousandth to make good parts, to get everything dialed in. And so we do that also. This machine we hand program, and then later on in our school year, we will use MasterCam to program parts on this also. This is this fishing mill. This has a controller. The controller is a very popular controller out in industry. Once again, students get comfortable using this type of controller. They know the terminology when it comes to the buttons and the certain dials. Once again, we use this machine to dial in fixturing, to dial in tooling, and students will hand program and then later on use MasterCam. We have set up a small farm in here. We ran it yesterday, so you can see it without the coolant. With the coolant running, you can keep it with steam. So I'm going to go ahead and start that. Kind of give you all our projects and parts up here, we try to replicate what they would see in industry as far as different style of features or dimensioning that they would need. That way, we try to create this real work experience for them. That way, once again, when they get out to industry, they're fully aware of what to expect. Over here is our new 5-axis mill. 5-axis is a traditional mill that also the trunnion will rotate as well as the center portion. Once again, we programmed this part out yesterday. If the coolant was running, you wouldn't be able to see. So this is just a good way to be able to see what's going on. But this particular part has been Mastercam programmed, and and so as it's going across, you can see all the different axes moving. A machine like this, they are upwards of $200,000 to above. And so, once again, when we talk about safety, we need to make sure we're following all the proper safety protocols, and we know exactly all the controller buttons and what they do. And so that is something we really emphasize on, making sure everyone understands what everything does on these machines. This is the part when it's on Mastercam. And so a student would program this part in the classroom. And you can see there's a toolpath running now. And we can see how the toolpath is going to go and as it moves around the part. This is the part when it begins. This is the blank it starts with. And then here is a finished product for it. So like I said, it's very intricate. A part like this would be like a spline gear out in industry, aerospace, that sort of thing. Another thing we try to do in our class is we try to make our own tooling as much as possible. Kind of once again gives a real world experience. And so we make our own tooling, and they know right away if it works or doesn't work, which is a good thing. Once again, for our inspection side of things, we have a CMM, and inspection is a huge thing when it comes to the industry standards. They expect parts to be in good form, and so we spend a lot of time on inspection, making sure we understand the equipment, how to actually check things properly, and then when we machine them, that they are perfect. So this is machine tool engineering. Is it? Yeah. This is machine tool engineering. Like I said, it's a great course for any student that likes to work with their hands, that is interested even in computers. Like I said, with the computer capabilities nowadays. I would love to come out and talk to any of your high school students at your technology departments, showcase what we can do. We have Rainbow Rally coming up, and so I suggest that any students that might be interested come out and actually see the shop in person. It's a little more awe-inspiring when you're in person. Like I said, it was really nice talking to you all today. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to give it just a few minutes. Brian is next on the list, and so he's actually filming. And so I think he'll come in just a little bit, and we'll go ahead and move on to that. Okay, Brian, are you on? Can
You
you
need
hear us?
to unmute the mic, Brian.
I think he's getting on because he's switching
Okay,
from
gotcha.
filming to
Okay.
himself now.
I was having to go from being the videographer to the person talking. Are we good?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, I don't have my agenda, Kim. What am I supposed to talk about?
The next thing you're talking about is the test scores and entrance, and I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, thank you. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for listening to Daniel. I tell you what, that's a pretty cool program when you can get in here and really see that and see what they do. It's pretty impressive. So I encourage you guys to have him out to visit your classrooms and talk with your students. They would benefit greatly from that. The next thing I want to share is talking about our admissions requirements. And we have, well, we're continuing to adapt and allow GPA to be an acceptable qualifier for admission into our programs. So we adopted this last year during the COVID pandemic, and we have continued that moving forward. And so this screen that Kim is sharing with you now is a screen, it's an Excel file, and it shows you all of the different test scores that we will accept, which will qualify your student into our programs. It gets really complicated. I tell you, there's a lot of different variables, a lot of different things. Just keep in mind, if you focus on the bottom right-hand corner, which is kind of that orange area, that is the GPA requirement for our programs. So to summarize that, the majority of our programs, if the student has a 2.5 or higher GPA, we can accept them into our programs. Some of the exceptions to that rule is going to be dental hygiene. They still require an ACT score or a T score. The nursing program, practical nursing, still requires a TEAS test. Dental assisting, they require a 2.75. So a GPA does work, it's just a little bit higher for the assisting program. If you reference that chart, it will help you understand that a little bit more. On that chart will also be our GPA for math, English comp, and anatomy and physiology. So it will help you to understand whether a student is eligible or not to take these classes or the programs. I will tell you, it has simplified the admissions process greatly. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you have a student that is interested in taking a course or a program, have them fill out the application. That has to be step number one. Step two is have whoever's in charge of transcripts, whether it's the registrar or the counselor, just email me a copy of the transcript. We will evaluate that transcript and communicate with you and the student what the next steps are. Hopefully, we can move immediately into the enrollment process. So if you have any questions, feel free. I think Kim's going to share all these documents with you as far as with the notes and the minutes that she sends out after the meeting. So you'll be able to get a better view of that Excel file there. I did save it as a JPEG, so nobody can manipulate or change the numbers. We don't want that, but that way you guys have that on file for you to look at and kind of keep in your file on your desk so you can reference it. It might help you answer questions without having to reach out quite so much. All right, Kim, you want to move on to the next one? While she's doing that, does anybody have any questions in regards to the GPA and the admissions? Okay, if you do have questions, put it in the chat and I will answer those, or you have my email, you can email me directly and I'd be happy to answer those. All right, we are back. We took a year off of doing Wrangler Rally. We did do a virtual event last year to the best of our ability. We are back to having an in-person Wrangler Rally. Unfortunately, we are not able to go back to full strength like we have in the past, where we have 600 kids on campus on one day. We still have to be cautious with our numbers and the size of groups that we bring in. And so we are going to break it up into 4 different days in the month of November. Now, I understand that this does put a little bit of inconvenience on you and your school because you have to bring kids here 4 different times. I have spoke with some of you already. I will encourage you, you don't have to bring them all 4 times. If you have other people in your institution that can transport students, all they have to do is get them here. Once they're here and inside, we will take care of them the entire time. So if you need to stay in your office and work, feel free to do that. Now, these postcards, I think I've emailed out the save the date already, so most of you should have received that. We are having these printed. They are in the print shop right now. They're almost done. And so once they are done, we will start mailing these to your students. We will start mailing them to you as well. So keep an eye on the date. They are spread out in the month of November. When we send out this postcard, and I'm going to send out a second email as well, we will give you more information on how to register for the event. We are having each student register individually this year. That is something different as well. So those that are seasoned veterans here, in the past, the counselors registered the entire group and sent it to Gwen. This year, we are having every student register individually. So there is a Google form. It is housed on our admissions page on our website. We will make sure and send you the link. You will go to that link and the student will fill out the registration form individually. They will pick the division they want. They're going to, it's great. They're going to tell us what size of shirt they want so we can sort shirts. We are feeding lunch that day. We're going to do a little bit longer day. So when you come, it's going to be from 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. And so we are going to serve pizza and a soda and then chips and some kind of treat, sugary, item for them to enjoy. So you will be here all day. But part of that registration form is telling us what kind of pizza they want so we can order the correct amount of pizza. So it is important that the students fill that out individually. Don't fill out one form and say 30 kids are coming. We need all 30 kids to fill it out individually. So you can do it during a cap time, seminar, college and planning hour that you might have, career. So find a time that you can have the students fill it out. It's good experience for them as well, filling out a form correctly and answering those questions. So any questions on Wrangler Rally? I will tell you we're pretty excited. By doing the division days, the students are actually going to get to visit multiple programs within that division. So the last few years, they've only been able to visit one program. And by doing it this way, they will get to visit 4 or 5 programs in one day. So that is nice exposure to multiple areas that they might be interested in. All right, Kim, if there's no questions, we can move on. I will tell you one of the things that Kim is going to be emailing out to you as part of the minutes is the quick guide that we produce every year. This is a nice guide for you to have in your file as well. If you look, just hold it right there, Kim, on graphic arts. If you look at graphic arts, there's going to be a short description about the program. So if you have a student asking you about it, you can read that to them. It's going to tell you important information, when the program starts. So if you look at graphic arts, the only time we can start students is going to be in the fall semester. The schedule on there, that's an approximation. So approximately it's 8:30 to 11:30, 12:30 to 3:30, Monday through Friday. It's going to vary off of that a little bit. So that's just big parameters. It tells you the location. This is really critical. I learned on our first day of the semester this year, when we had high school kids getting bused in, we had some of our downtown students getting off the bus at the main campus. And I had to tell the bus driver that he needed to load them back up and drive them downtown. So you can see what campus each program is on. And also, if you're taking the testing criteria, if you're looking at test scores, it tells you what test scores. And then the 4 little colored boxes, that little key there, the first 2 tells you if it's a degree, an Associate of Applied Science degree, or a technical certificate program, or both. So if you look at graphic arts, you can obtain the certificate in 1 year or an associate degree in 2. That's if you're full-time. And then it also tells you an entry point, whether you can start that program as a high school junior or high school senior. Now, this document that we're going to email out to you, it's going to have every single program that we offer with those same descriptors on each program. So if you have questions, refer to this document and it'll help you answer those questions for your students. If you're still confused and you're like, I need Brian help, just call me, email me. Kim's available, I'm available. One thing that we pride ourselves on here at FHTC is customer service. And so we're always here to help you guys answer the questions for your students. I will tell you, I'm excited for Wrangler Rally. I want to see you guys here. I want it to be a celebration of being back on campus again. And so we're excited to have you guys. An email will be coming out shortly, again, with the registration form. I'm kind of waiting for the postcards to get done so we can mail the postcards and send the email kind of simultaneously. That way one's not going out prior to the other. But we do have a little bit of time. The registration will be the end of October. So at this moment, we have 2 months to get everybody registered. Even for the very last day, November 18th, the registration deadline for all 4 events is going to be the same day, which is off the top of my head, I think it's October 29th. It's on the postcard, so we'll read that when you get it. Again, I'm going to be doing high school visits. I have registered and signed up with so many of you already. I don't even know, I have 20 or 25 high school visits in the next 15 days. So I'm going to be on the road cranking them out. I'm excited to get back in your schools. Again, we had to avoid a gap year of not being able to get in. So I'm excited to get in and see your students and talk with them. Please encourage them to come speak with me. If you know of a student that is going to be trades, technical bound, technical education bound, please encourage them to come talk to me at the table. I know it's hard for them to get the courage to come over, but it's really important when I'm out at high schools that they spend, honestly, even 30 seconds coming over, introducing themselves and engaging with me at the table to help start that relationship and to start that connection so we can get them through the enrollment process and get them on campus. Kim, I think I'm done unless there's questions that need to be answered.
Brian, I have a couple of questions.
Okay, who am I speaking with?
This is Amber Jewell.
Hey, Amber.
Hey, I have one question on the first event. If they are unsure if they're going to be coming like a teacher or a student to one of those, do you want them to wait to sign up or go ahead and sign up with the possibility that they might not be able to go?
Well, since we have 2 months, I would say if you have a kid that's a maybe, let's hold on and see how things evolve in the next 2 months.
Okay.
And then if they're getting down to the 0 hour and they're still on the fence, let's have them register.
Okay, thank you. And then the other question is on the AccuPlacer. Is there a certain time and day if they need to go do that, or we're gonna do that you guys are doing those this year?
Oh, great question. Thanks. So yes, we are doing the AccuPlacer on Wednesday mornings at 9 o'clock in the morning. So the student needs to be on campus by 9 o'clock on Wednesdays. And we are doing the majority of Wednesdays. There might be maybe 1 or 2 the entire semester where we have a conflict. So pretty much you can bank on Wednesdays. I will tell you that test is not a timed test. So the student has as much time as they need. Typically, a student will be done anywhere between 1.5 hours and 3 hours. So most students are done by lunch or prior, and we will know the results immediately. So we can tell the students if they need to retest or if they can be accepted into a program. One thing to keep in mind is when the students take that AccuPlacer, if they fall short in one of the categories, they only retest in that section. So if they pass 2 of the 3 sections, we're only going to retest in math. The other scores are locked in and we're ready to move forward.
I have a question about the AccuPlacer. This is Amy Kaufman.
Yes.
Do they need to like call in advance and let you know they're gonna come, or can they just show up on a Wednesday around 9 to take it?
Yep, great question. So the way we handle that, Amy, is students need to call the office and register 1 day prior. So it needs to be done at least by the Tuesday prior to the test. There is a $10 testing fee. And so it depends on the institution, the high school. Some high schools will pay for the first attempt and some high schools will not. So if your district is going to pay for the student to take time, if the student is paying out of pocket, the payment needs to be made on the registration day, and it can be paid with cash, check, or credit card, debit card.
And then like if I have a student that's wanting to take it just to get into like a college algebra course, does she have to take the entire AccuPlacer or just the math portion?
Good question. It would be just the math portion. Now, are you taking the college algebra with us or at another institution, Amy?
Well, you and I had talked. I think that she's going to want to take it somewhere else. But I think she, 'cause
Okay.
she already qualifies to come there. I think it was a GPA issue, but
Yep.
all of the other kids here are taking it through Allen. And so I think that's what she wanted to do, to
Sure.
take it with her classmates.
Okay. Yep. So she can take she needs to take the QAS section.
Okay.
So it stands for quantitative, I think it's algebra statistics, quantitative learnings, algebra statistics is the section she needs to take.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Other questions? Those are great questions. Thanks for chiming in there, everybody. All right, Kim, I think I'm all done. You can move on with your agenda.
Okay, thanks, Brian. And yeah, it was really good questions that everybody chimed in with. So that helps a lot because that brings information to the forefront. We now have, I think she's on. We now have a visit from the new president that I wanted to give her an opportunity to say hi to everybody. And so I'm going to see if she's ready. Are you ready for us, Karen? I maybe went too quick. It will give her a minute to get into the system. Like I said, she just hopped on. Eva, are you available? Are you on? Oh, I think we're ready with Karen. Are you ready, Karen?
I am. I believe I am. Let me make sure I got my camera going on here. Oh, nice. The host has spotlighted your video for everyone. Thanks, Kim.
You're welcome.
Thank you all. I appreciate, I'm going to close this, make sure. So I appreciate the opportunity to just say good morning and say hello. I've looked over your agenda. One thing I'm getting used to is the use of the school district number 253, 416, these different numbers to identify the school district. So I have to go look your numbers up and see who you are and what region, what area you represent. So I would ask you to be a little patient with me on that, as that's a be new to the area. I'm from Southwest Missouri, but so that's a new process of how to describe school districts for me. And so that, though, I was very happy to see the number of school districts we have represented in our consortium, in our career consortium. And so I know that's the efforts of so many of not only Flint Hills Technical College staff, Kim and Brian and some of the others, but also you at the school districts and what your roles are and how you're working with your students and what those needs are. So thank you for that and for the advocacy of career and technical education. it is so important that we help students understand and see these different opportunities with the career and technical education. Very interesting this morning. Another part, I met with some folks with the chamber, but I had to step outside because bolts are missing from a light pole. How does that happen, right? So it's just like, okay, things you never think about, but that we need to make sure we have the right kind of tools to fix that. And so it reminds us every day the value and the importance of the technical skills that so many of us have to have in our operations and our organizations. And so it's such an anchor to so much of our infrastructure. So thank you for supporting career and technical education and the opportunities that so many of our students can have with that. A little bit about, just to help you understand a little bit more of my background, I was with Missouri State University early on in my career, but primarily have been in community and technical colleges and have worked very closely with Perkins programs and with career and technical programming and with high school partnerships. And so that is very near and dear to me. So when I saw this meeting, and I was very happy to see that the proactive stance the college takes with our partners in the school districts. And so that was something that some of the colleges that I've come from are behind on, that they don't have necessarily these kinds of meetings to get folks together and just to provide some of these updates and with some of the K-12 representatives. So this is really exciting to see you all together and having this conversation. I look here at my other screen because I see your agenda. I have your agenda pulled up. And so being able to see all of this information and looking at the kinds of conversations and kind of professional development that you're undergoing as you look at this information and you learn of these different matters. I'm going to very quickly, and I'm going to look at Kim, and Kim, you can either do a thumbs up or a nod, but I'd like to mention very quickly our accreditation, our HLC accreditation. Is that something you have on the agenda or you've already talked about, or is it okay if I hit on that for a moment? So the college has, and I think probably somewhere along the way I've seen, or I know you've talked about faculty qualifications, requirements for folks who teach both the CTE or both the college and the high school classes, our concurrent enrollment. That will be, for instance, that's a segment of what our Higher Learning Commission site review team will be asking us about and looking into, just to make sure that we align to what the Higher Learning Commission standards and expectations are. So the college is undergoing its site visit. It's a 10-year site visit. The college did have one because it has so recently, in the scheme of things, transitioned from USD 253 as a separate entity and as Flint Hills Technical College under separate accreditation with the Higher Learning Commission. And so this 10-year comprehensive evaluation is September 13th and 14th. And so these site reviewers, I always call it kicking the bricks. So they're really going to just come in and kick the bricks and make sure that the documents that we produce and the report that we submitted and our community engagement and our school district and partner engagement, that we are doing what our documentation says we're doing. And so that visit is the 13th and 14th, and they will look at transcripts of some of our faculty. They will look at these different processes and operations just to ensure that we are aligning to and subscribing to the standards and expectations to be recognized and accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. This visit is a reaffirmation of accreditation, and the value of our accreditation then allows the students transfer credits. So it allows those credits that they take with us to transfer. It allows the federal financial aid. It allows the rigor and the quality of our programming to be recognized as level of higher education, and that allows it to transfer. So there are a lot of qualities and benefits that we get from undergoing this process that really gives us somewhat of a national, regional, federal stamp of approval in our processes and operations as being an institution of higher education. So it's a pretty big deal for the college. We're pretty excited about it. We will be under the microscope for a couple days. And of course, we certainly expect some constructive feedback that will allow us to undergo some different operations and look at our own processes and ensure that we are serving our constituents as is expected in our assumed practices. So I wanted to mention that. And then I also wanted to mention the value and the importance that you understand, but of the career and technical education and of having these partnerships and understanding so much of what, this is a great schedule, by the way, Kim, this is a great schedule. So good kudos to you for that, because that's really nice. So thank you for inviting me, Kim, to just say hello. Another thing that I want to reach out to all of you is that I want to get to each of your school districts. So that is an undertaking. It's not going to happen this fall. I hope a few can happen this fall, but over the next year, I do want to get to our school districts that are part of our service district and maybe meet with your superintendent, your school leadership. So I would welcome, and I know Kim can get this for me, but I would welcome contact information and the ability that I can come tour your school and come see where your school is and just walk through and walk around and see your spaces where your students learn, just to give me more insight to who you are and our different districts in this area. So that is something that's really important to me. It's not something that has to be done, like I said, in the next week or two. It is something that I hope to undertake over this academic year. And it could be a thing where I could hit 2 or 3, in a particular county, but that's very important. So I do hope to see you and meet you at your districts, masked if necessary, by all means, to ensure the safety of folks. But that is something that I hope that if you are in one of those positions of leadership, or if you can reach out to folks, that I would really like to get that scheduled. And again, I think Kim can help me with that as I get to that point. I'm meeting with a lot of our internal folks right now. And so it'll be something that I really want to set up after I've made that priority of meeting with our internal folks. So that's the spiel I had this morning. And I don't know if any of you had a question or two that I could answer. Otherwise, Kim, I'll hand it back over to you. And I've got another meeting, so another session I need to get to about 9:30. So we do have a few minutes if anyone had a question that I could answer for you or give you some more insight.
Okay, does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask at this time?
I do have another one.
Okay.
I would ask you all to please feel comfortable calling me Karen. So I appreciate the recognition of, the Dr. Daugherty or anything like that, but I'm Karen. So please feel free to call me Karen. So I just want to make sure people are comfortable with that.
Okay, any questions from anybody? Okay, we'll go ahead. Thanks for dropping in. And when she says she wants to come out to your buildings, she means that sincerely. And so hopefully we can get some stuff set up in the spring to come out and visit some of your guys' sites so that she can see where she's at and what she's working with out there. So, but
That's
thanks for dropping by. And
all right, you all have a good day. Enjoy your long weekend too.
Yes, yes.
See ya.
Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay, next on, is Eva still on here? Eva, are you on here?
I am.
There she is. Eva has been with us for what, 2 years now, Eva?
A little bit shy of 2 years, yes.
Okay. And she has been kind of our outline areas as far as our advisor. And so she's worked at the downtown campus and the welding building. And does that kind of take care of it?
Downtown welding, and then like a floater at the main campus.
Okay.
A little bit of everything.
Okay. Andrea, our advisor that's here on the main campus is actually moving to a different position. And so Eva will be moving into Andrea's office. And so now when you come to the main campus, she will be on the main campus full-time now. And so I wanted to introduce her. So some of you, maybe if you haven't been out to one of the outlying buildings, haven't met Eva. And so I wanted you to have the opportunity to meet her. And so when you call the main campus or come to the main campus, you're going to be talking with Eva. Anything you want to add to that, Eva?
No, nothing. It's just very exciting to take on this new role and work closely to most of the high schools. I met a couple of you guys. It was very nice to put a face to the name for the others. So I'm very excited to work with everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Eva. Anybody have any questions for Eva that they would like to ask at this time? Okay, I guess you get off the hook then, Eva. and
Alrighty.
you can stay with us and visit if you want to, and we'll go on with the agenda. Brenda, I have down course list and enrollment. Hey, Brenda, your sound is coming across like Mickey Mouse. I don't know if it's Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, but it's not coming across as if you're talking.
Is that better?
Oh, there you go.
Okay. You never know which microphone to choose from. So I do not want to sound like Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck or anything like that, but I made somebody laugh this morning. So I can't wait till we have this meeting together. I just wanted to follow up with everyone on the dual credit courses, the tech ed courses especially. I believe we've got most of the students enrolled in general education classes, but I'm going to send out rosters and what we're meeting. I started sending those out on Monday and hoping to finish those up today so that we can get all the high school students enrolled in classes. So if you are working with students in your tech ed classes that are getting college credit, if a student's never attended FHTC or taken a dual credit CTE class, they do have to fill out an application for admissions. We also prefer that they have their social security number. It's not required. It just helps with reporting and it helps them with transferring of the credits. That way it's on our records, but we need to have that application on file. If we already have an application on file, we can enroll them. But I know that we're still missing a few class lists. So Kim and I are working with the schools to get those taken care of. So if you have dual credit classes, whether it's general education classes or the tech ed, and have not sent us the rosters, please make sure to do that. So we can just double check our records to get students enrolled. Because having all of our students enrolled by 20th day is important to us. And then on the flip side, so we've sent students that are attending our campuses. I had Gwen send out schedules right before the start of the semester that had the beginning and end date of each of the classes, your students that were enrolled. If you need updated ones or if you need student attendance, I can pull those at any time. So student attendance, grades, transcripts, any kind of school official record comes from my office. So just reach out and I'd be happy to get those for you. Same with certifications, graduate information, stuff like that. I think that's all I have, Kim. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Brenda? Brenda's the record keeping side of us. She's the one that keeps us all straight and going in the right direction. And so if you have any questions as far as enrollment, as far as any of those kind of things, she's your good source of information. You can always reach out to me too. And if I can't answer, then I will reach out to Brenda. So one way or the other, we'll get your answer for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Brenda. Going on, let me check. Steve, are you still on here?
I am.
Do you want to go ahead and do your item? Because I know you have an observation that you have to do? Do you want to go ahead and just mention, this is something that's not on the agenda, but it's something that it's important. So Steve, if you want to go ahead and mention those things, and then we can go through my items that I have.
Okay, Kim, I sent you the comprehensive regional teams or needs assessment team document. If you don't mind sharing that, that would be great.
Okay.
Part of my role at the technical college is the Perkins coordinator. And so a number of you, or maybe most, if not all of you, have some connection with that at your particular school or with your consortium with Greenbush or whoever. And one of the things that's part of Perkins 5 legislation now is that every other year we have to do a comprehensive local needs assessment, so that the dollars that are spent from Perkins are related to those things that are needs in the region. So that team will be getting together here in the fall semester, and the regional needs assessment report is due to KBOR and KSDE by February 1st of 2022. What we need at this point are people who are willing to serve on this assessment team. And you can see a few names there of folks who have already agreed to be part of it. Kim and Stella Tharp, I don't know how many of you know her from Ottawa. Cheryl leads from Emporia High, Denise Gilligan, myself. We're not limited to one person in a slot, but we do need somebody who is providing, is a part of each one of these particular items. So if you have, for example, secondary teachers from your high school or school district, who you would want or would be willing to serve on this regional assessment team, we'd like their names and their contact information to include them on the assessment team. Or if you have business and industry folks that you work with closely, we need their input for our needs assessment report. You notice down there, there's a career and guidance counselor. Again, as many of you as would desire to be on it, that would be great. Basically, you're providing input in what goes into the report, which will then end up being submitted to the state. And then from that, how the regional or how the Perkins are allocated in your locally or in your consortium are determined from that. So basically the commitment for it is that group will meet probably 2, maybe 3 times between now and February 1st. More than likely, we will try and do that via Zoom, just so that folks can, it saves on the travel time, and we can get together and talk and be unmasked as we do so. And then the bulk of the writing, quite honestly, ends up being done by myself and Stella as the coordinators of this, but we will take your input and then end up putting it into the report. So basically what I'm asking for right now is volunteers to help out. One last thing that I didn't mention is representatives of special populations. So whether that's a school district employee or somebody perhaps in your community, like a COF at Burlington or something like that, we need folks who are working with individuals with disabilities or individuals from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, those who are working with single parents, single pregnant women, those working with unemployed individuals, non-native English speakers, homeless individuals, those in the foster care system, or those who are working with youth whose parents or a parent is part of the active duty military. I forgot to mention for Nicola that, oh, now I've lost the name, Jennifer Graber is going to join us for the workforce side of things. But if more than one of you in the Workforce Center want to help out with that because you represent a particular special population, that would be great. Now, this is probably an important question to get out there, but who is in our regional consortium? And every high school is in a regional consortium of some sort. But for us, I'm just going to go down the list really quickly. High schools: Lebo, Waverly, Burlington, Leroy Gridley, is that the name? Southern Coffee County? Is that the right name now? North Line County, South Line County, West Franklin, Central Heights, Wellsville, Garnett. Actually Garnett, that's what, Anderson County. Council Grove, Osage City, Colony Crest, Ottawa, Emporia, Osawatomie, Paola, and Lewisburg. So those are the high schools in our regional needs assessment group. If your high school was not named, that means you're in a different group, and that particular either post-secondary or secondary coordinator should be contacting your high school to ask for participation from you. All right, I will be quiet and ask, are there any questions from you about either the commitment to it or something else related to that regional assessment? All right, well, if you have names, and Kim, I'll probably just ask if you would send this document out with the notes. And as you're looking down through the positions, if you've got somebody or you yourself are willing to help be a representative in that particular category, to send that information to me. Basically, we need name, title, email address, and phone number from you. That's part of the information that KSDE and KBOR will require by October 1st. We have to submit our list by that date.
Okay, any questions for Steve before he moves on to his next duty for the day? Anybody want to jump on the list right now while we're talking? Okay, we're gonna have to twist some arms, I think. I don't think anybody's gonna jump on the list.
I think Janella is telling me that yes, she's jumping on. So Janella, thank you very much for that.
All
And yes,
right.
it is what we talked about this summer. I will add you to the career and guidance counselor section. All right, send me your, actually, Kim probably has your contact information already.
Yes, I do. I will get that name and information to you. And Cheryl's already on the list, so she can't volunteer. So we'll have to see what other arms we can twist in the process. So, okay, we'll go ahead and go on with the rest of the items that are on the list, because I don't think Andrea's on. So we'll go ahead and go on the list. One thing I'll mention on that, and Eva can chime in also, if you have any concerns or your students come back to you with concerns, make sure you let Eva know that, or whoever the person who's taking Eva's place as she takes Andrea's place, so that we can look into any of those problems that, whether it's grades, no matter what it is. Make sure you let us know, or let one of these ladies know, because we want to make sure that the students are comfortable with what's going on and are happy with their education, whether that be here or whether that be at Garnett. I know several of you that are on actually have students going at Garnett, and everything we do here, we also do at Garnett. And so we have those systems in place to help as much as we possibly can. So let's go ahead and I'll mention some of the things that I have on the list. Service items to high schools, and this is just a few of the items. We could probably spend one of these whole meetings just talking about services, but the colors presentation, several of you have taken advantage of that, and that's where I come out and I do, we've changed the colors questions just a little bit to gear towards junior high school, and then it puts them in a color, and then we talk about different careers, programs here at the college, and things that feed into that. So if you want me to come out and do that, I've never done it remotely, but we can try. I'm not really sure why I put remotely after colors presentation, but okay. So like I said, I can come out and do that at any point in time. If you need guest speakers, or if your teachers need guest speakers for their classroom, our teachers love to come. Daniel mentioned it when he did his presentation, love to come out and talk about their program, talk about the careers that they lead to. They have a lot of career type information that they can give your students. And so if your teachers need speakers for their classrooms, let us know. Help with curriculum, especially those classes that we do as dual credit classes. I know several of the culinary area have reached out to our instructors to get help on different items, but know that those are always available to you. And if something else comes up, let us know. There's ways that we can help people with stuff. So if something comes up and you're going, boy, not sure where we can do this, then let us know and see if it's something that we can help you with. One thing that has come up this year a couple of times, and the transfer and articulation with K-Board, and we've talked about KCOGs several times, and so you're probably going, okay, she's talking about it again. But since there was some questions that came up, several of our courses will transfer to universities, and they are expanding down into I shouldn't say down, into the technical areas, and not just gen eds. And so there's 4 of our business courses that are actually on the Kansas Core Outcome Group list that will transfer to universities. And so I always like to stress this because we hear a lot, oh, those courses won't transfer. And yes, they will. All of our gen eds will transfer as long as the other college is on that list, because some colleges choose not to be. We're actually just got the list of courses that are going on the list this year, and we have two more of our courses, our microbiology and our business law, that is being looked at this year to add to that list. So if you go to the Kansas Board of Regents site, if I give you the link directly to the transfer list, it does wonky things. But if you go to the Kansas Board of Regents site, which is just kansasregents.org, on the front page, there is it looks like a map of Kansas. And if you click on that, it will take you into the list of courses. And so I just wanted to stress that, since it's kind of come up again this year, that especially the gen eds won't transfer, and our gen eds will transfer. So if you look at the list, it shows you, like I said, some of the 4-year institutions have opted out of several places, or not several, of some of the courses. But for the most part, the universities are right there with us, because that's an encouragement for students to come to them. So take a look at that list. If you have questions, or if you're wondering about a specific class, then let us know. Brenda, do you want to add anything to that?
Sorry, I had to find my unmute button. The only thing I would just emphasize is we have several students that are have chosen not to take concurrent classes with FHTC because they've been told automatically that doesn't transfer, just because of past experiences of classes from, number 1, before we were accredited, or 2, before the KCOG system came up. So before that statement is said, either whether it's a counselor, principal, an office assistant, I mean, anybody in a school, like, just, encourage your staff to look it up before we just say, or even if you don't have the time to look it up, hey, here's a good contact to call. They can contact me directly, and I'd be happy to send the student and parents links. I would rather students have the correct information than assumptions. And not only that, but there's a few schools, well, there's one school in particular. So, like, for example, Washburn University, they require their students to have a junior composition class. So our English Comp 2 class doesn't transfer as that junior comp, it transfers as an elective, but they're still required to take a junior composition class. So if I know a student's going to Washburn, I'd say, you can take this class and it'll go as an elective, you have 120 hours to complete. So it'll be part of that 120, but it's not going to meet that junior comp requirement. So just understanding what's required for different majors at different universities. And I'd be happy to sit down and talk with any counselor about that, or student or parent. That's all I have to add.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Brenda. Any questions as far as that is concerned? Okay, we'll segue right into online courses, because this is something, again, that we've talked about in the past, but just so you know, all of our gen eds are offered, except some of the science labs, some of the science courses are not offered online, but any of our other gen ed courses are offered online. So your students can take them directly from us. If you don't have a teacher that's qualified in your building for the HLC requirements, we can offer those courses online. They can take them from us. We have several school districts. Eureka's doing a course with us. Linden's doing a course with us. Olpe is doing a course with us where they actually have the class in the high school. And so the high school teacher, so like at Eureka, the high school teacher that doesn't have the proper HLC requirements, they have a classroom that the students are in with the English teacher at the high school. The students are taking English comp from us, from our instructor, but they have that high school teacher in the classroom to help them. And so there's things like that that we can do, or if you don't have a slot in your schedule for that teacher, then they can take them directly from us. The Olpe students take public speaking directly from us, and we have it set up to where they do their speeches, those kind of things. And so any of our gen eds can be done that way. We also have the business program is completely online. We have some courses we have 2 courses in nursing that can be taken online. So we have courses sprinkled throughout our schedule that your students can take directly from us online. And again, there's 4 of the business courses, marketing, management, leadership, and there's 1 more that is actually on that KCOGS list. So if your students come to us, they can do that. OSHA 10 the OSHA 10 online training, several of you have taken advantage of that. I will say the dates that I put on the agenda were last year's dates, and I apologize for that. When I send the minutes out, it will be the correct dates. So those courses, or that course that Jeff works with your students on is available again this year. The schedule will be on here. So if you're interested in your students doing that, they can be specific areas, whether it be ag, healthcare, culinary, automotive, or just general industry. And so Jeff will work with you on that. I think he told me the other day he has close to 200 students in the first section already. And so he's kind of moving on to the second section. So like I said, if you're interested in having that, let me know. Reach out to me and I can get you connected with Jeff, and we can get your students enrolled in that. There's no charge for that, and the students come out with an hour of college credit. And they also have that OSHA 10 certification that goes with them. So
Can I chime in a little bit on this?
sure.
So it is my understanding that this year Jeff is doing something a little bit different. He's getting the parents involved with the OSHA class. So they just have to sign a paper acknowledging that they know that their student is taking a college level class.
Yep. I am actually the one that sends that letter out. Once we have a school signed up, then I send, the letter goes out to the principal and to the counselor, and there is a letter attached to it that we ask that you share with your parents and have the parents sign off that yes, they know they're taking a college class. We ran into a couple of situations where students weren't finishing it in a timely manner, and so then they were failing the OSHA 10 class, which means they have an F on their college transcript, which is not what we want to have happen. And then we had some parents calling and complaining because they didn't know that they were doing this. And so we added this feature to it this year. So when a school signs up, then I send a letter out to the principal and the counselor, so they know that this is going on, and we have a letter attached to that. And so thanks for that reminder, Ev. I about forgot to say anything about that. And like I said, it's just a way to make sure that the students know they're taking a college class and the parents know they're taking a college class. There's still no fee for that class, so they don't have to pay for that hour of college credit. Questions? Any other questions as far as the OSHA 10 training? Okay. Articulation agreements, these are the MOUs that I come out and the principal signs them, the superintendent signs them, and the teacher sign them. The last 2 years, we've had to do this virtually where I've just mailed them out. I'm trying to get out to all of the buildings. I've gotten out to about half of the buildings now because I really want to come out, visit with the teachers, get them signed up, those kind of things, just so I can answer any questions. So we are working with those, and I should have those. I'm hoping to have those done by the end of next week. I've got 5 schools I think I'm going out to this week, and then I'll hit the rest of them next week. So the MOUs are coming around to get those signed, and the articulation agreements are for those dual credit classes that we offer. So it's the contracts most of you have seen. I don't think we've got any new schools this year, So most of the schools have seen those. 14, if you've got something that you want this group to do, if you want, you have an idea, any of that kind of stuff, make sure you let me know. I'm always into what else can we do as far as this group is concerned, what information do you need? Because I want this hour and a half that we spend together to be beneficial for you guys. And so if there's something that you would like to accomplish or information that you would like to have, make sure you let us know. We've added the video tours at the beginning because we figure that's better than just hearing somebody talk, especially when we have to do it like we're doing it now. Next month is going to be dental assisting, and the month after that is going to be IET, industrial engineering technology. And so those will be the next 2 programs that we showcase, like we did this morning. So if there's something that you want, make sure that you let me know, and we'll make sure that that happens. I will be including the calendar. Most of you may already have it, but I want to get this out so that you know days that we have off, or days that we're in session that maybe you're not in session, so that you know what your students need to do and not do, those kind of things. And so this will be included with the information that I send out, so that you have this calendar that gives the dates that we're having off and those kind of things. Because some schools close for Veterans Day, some don't. We don't want students to end up here and not have anybody here to work with them. So we'll let you know about that. Something I got yesterday, some of you probably have got it too. They are going back to in-person with this February CTE conference. And so they sent out an announcement yesterday. I think it was yesterday that we got it. And so they're still going to do some online stuff with it. So they're kind of filling both realms. So you might think about that if you have a teacher or you yourself or somebody else that wants to present at it. If you let me know, we'll make sure that gets to be part of what happens. We do pay for 2 people to go to this and in 1 hotel room. And so for the districts that we work with, that's something that we do just as part of that CT conference. And so I will include this information when I email out the minutes and those kind of things so that you guys have it. Wrangler SPC in December. We haven't got to have this last year or the year before. I don't think we got to have this because I think things started kicking in. The Wrangler SPC is the Superintendent Principal Counselor Conference that we do. Instead of this meeting, we have this little conference and we bring speakers in. We do breakfast, lunch, those kind of things. The last couple of years, we've done some extra things in the afternoon. And so I'm hoping to line that up. Again, the last time we had this scheduled and we were getting ready to go on it and then it got canceled, we were going to get to tour dynamic discs. And so I'm going to reach back out to him and see if that's something that we can do this year. So Wrangler SBC in December, it'll be the first Wednesday, just like this meeting is. So you might let those people know that are involved in that so they can kind of save that date on their calendar. Next meeting will be Thursday, October 6th. I think I'm staying virtual. I really like to meet in person because I think it's a lot easier to talk to people and that kind of stuff. But I know there's a lot of people that don't get to come to the meetings if we have them in person, where they do get to come and visit with us. And so we're going to keep it virtually. When Steve did the Perkins report this year and we looked at numbers, it just makes a lot more sense to be able to do it that way. So that's what I had on my agenda. Do we have any questions? Anything that you have run into so far this school year that you're looking for information? Anything that I can answer for you? I'm going to go ahead and unshare my screen. Because then it makes everybody bigger. So if they come on and talk, then I can see them. So, oh, Nicole, I forgot to ask, anything from Kansas Works that you would like to announce? Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I don't think that we necessarily have any announcements. We still have tons of money to give away for those that tuition assistance. And so if you have any youth who you think might be eligible for that funds, send me an email. I can put my email into the chat so that you have it. We're always looking for referrals to help get people to school. So that's all for me.
And Nicole, what area do you work with? Like what area would that apply to?
So I am located in the Emporia office, but I cover all of our northern counties. So over to Miami County, Anderson County, and then over to Lyon County.
Okay. Anybody have questions for Nicole? I always like to hear we have money to give away. That's always,
Yes.
always exciting.
Yes, it is.
Any other questions that anybody has? Everybody's quiet now. Okay, no questions. I don't see anything in the chat area. Nicole did put her email address in. So if you have any students that may qualify for those monies that she's talking about, reach out to her. So, and I will include, Nicole, I will make sure I include your email address in the minutes that I send out also.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions from anybody else? Okay, I will let you guys escape then. Kendall, I'll see you in just a little bit for our deal that we're going to experiment with. And
Sounds good.
we will go from there. Let me know, reach out if you have any questions, anything that you guys need from us, make sure you let us know.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye, everybody.